everyone, and welcome back to our second War Council of the Waddling Ducks. So, first things first, I'm going to open up to you guys. Thoughts, things we need to improve on, things we didn't do well, things that did go well. Just kind of throw them out there for now.
It looks like we need more ships up north.
Yeah, it looks like they're not dumb. They actually made ships up there.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought they'd be smart? Smart.
Looks like they're kind of doing the exact same thing that we are as far as army goes, sending them all to the front, abandoning all other provinces.
Which will be great for our side if we get the naval dominance.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, with even numbers of ships, we should have a big advantage, because Mori are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it looks like we won't be doing the Mitsuke plan at all.
No, most likely not. Probably best to just redirect all our agents to the line and make sure that they don't get any agents in our area.
Yes.
Because
I do have a question. How bad, if at all, do you think our construction schedule's behind? Do you think this is going to be this is a big problem, and is there anything we can do to mitigate this? Like, for example, the Katana schools, we're making them late. Do you guys think this will... I honestly, at first I thought this would be really bad, but now that we don't really have the funds anyway, I don't think it's as bad as it could have been. But
Well, I mean, it's not that late if we could have even made them anyways.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But overall, do you guys think that we're behind schedule? Is there anything we really need to fix now? Like, we need to fix this, or are we're good, we just need to be careful?
I think overall we're pretty good.
Yeah.
We should be good.
At most, we're maybe a turn behind on a few things. At most.
And plans can change.
Exactly.
Well, plans should change,
Yes, they should.
depending on the situation.
So, anyone else like stuff? You know, things that you think we should concentrate on, or...
I just, I know you took pictures of the provinces. I'm a little anxious to see, like, exactly what agents we have and where, because you were recruiting them sort of semi-randomly, wherever you could.
Right.
Which is, understandable, considering the time limits. But I'm not exactly sure where all of them are, so...
Alright,
Once I find that out, I can start figuring out what we can do with them.
I think my pictures show that.
Well, if they're just pictures of the provinces, then I should be able to see that fine enough.
I believe that won't be a problem, but I'm gonna get those up as probably by the end of the session. I'll have them up. So
Okay, cool.
by the end of the War Council. So that should not be a problem.
Good, good.
With the 10 minutes, is moving our troops individually a really big problem? Or...
It was a big problem when I had to move them and build a bunch of crap.
Yeah, but the building's pretty much done now.
Right, that'll be less of a problem now because building will be more of a spot here, spot there, let's build this.
Okay.
No, if all I have to worry about during my 10 minutes is moving agents and troops, I don't think it'll be a big problem. Especially since I doubt very seriously throughout the majority of the LP I'll be moving so many individual units. More often than not, we're going to be moving much larger, like fewer, much larger units instead of, like, what, 10 single-man units, you know?
Yep.
So, no, and I'm getting better at it, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll
Awesome.
happen.
So, alright, let's talk strategy. I mean, honestly, this first session, kind of like I expected, it ended a little early. Or earlier than we expected. Normally we're going to go about 6 turns or 2 hours, whichever comes first. Mostly because my back was absolutely killing me. I cut it off a little bit early. But it kind of went how I expected in the sense that there was no clashing really. They had more ships up north than, well, not more than we thought, because we thought we could run into what we did, which is why we sent the scout ship first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But there was a clash there, and they took Fernando, the monk.
Oh no, Fernando.
Nando.
Well, no one. He wasn't very popular anyway.
No.
No. So, other than that, there was no real clashing or anything yet. Let's put it this way, because since we haven't really had much clashing or anything, do you think there's anything we need to change or address, or are we pretty much staying the course right now?
We have a lot of troops, if I remember correctly, up in Tango, and they have not a whole lot in Wakasa, the one right next to it.
Well, that was because Wakasa is protected by the Shogunate.
Not from Tango. Tango is 57 on the...
Okay,
Yeah.
that's one thing we will have to fix. We can't use numbers because there's no numbers on the map. So, if they say, hey, put it in 57, I don't have a 57, so...
That's why in my thingy I put both.
Alright, hang on.
Just to make sure.
Let me try and find Tango. That's not Tango.
It's the northmost province on the front line.
Well, I know that one. I'm actually trying to find it in the pictures. Here we go, Tango.
Pictures.
Wait. So I'm confused. Yes, it's true that Tango connects to this land, but the thought behind it was if they can't take Tango, then they have no access to that land anyway. So I didn't see a need to keep soldiers there.
I was just pointing out that we have a lot more in Tango than they have in Wakasa.
Oh, they have in Wakasa. Oh. Yes, that is true. But so our original plan was to stay on the defensive on land while we build a superior force on the sea. Do you think we should be pushing?
Well, if we have a position to do so.
I'm not opposed to pushing. The only thing we have to be careful on is if we push and it costs highly. You know what I mean? Like, say we take their province, but it comes at a great cost, and they have enough to just take it right back, and then we're worse off than we were to begin with.
Well,
I'm wondering how many extra bars on Tango do you see?
Give me 1 second. Where was it? It was right here. I was looking at it. No, I don't think I have a picture of their land.
Okay.
I will see though. I will see. Hang on. Because I might. I could surprise myself.
I could go and try and find in the video.
Oh yeah, it'll be in the video. That's for sure. Oh come on!
Because I know we have a ninja in Wakasa, so if I remember correctly.
I just had this picture up. Okay, there's Tango. Let's see. We have. Oh gosh, that's gonna be hard to see. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? With this picture, it's really hard to tell. It's not high enough resolution for me to be able to count them. Oh, you know what though? No, I was gonna say I can say 1, 2, 3. We might have to look at the video to figure that one out.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Wakasa. This is pretty near the end of the video. Come on, go full screen properly. Darn it, YouTube.
Gotta love YouTube.
Why do one... Oh, there we go. I'll increase the quality now so I can actually see. Yeah, they have next to nothing in... Oh no, because their bars are black and they're against a bat. We have maybe a third on them in Tango against Wakasa. Something like that. That's including their garrison troops, actually, because it's hard to tell the difference between the garrison bars and the actual bars here.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. Knowing my skill versus Rebel, because I'm going to play it safe and say Rebel's played Shogun more than I have. So when it comes to the field of battle, he's going to have the advantage overall in just experience. I am confident if it's an even match, I'm confident that I can win, hopefully at least 50-50. You know what I mean? If I want to win a fight and make sure I win it without many losses, I'm going to want double.
Mhm.
I don't know if a third is enough to really slaughter him.
Well, we do have like 4 or 5 group units in Tamba, which seem to be heading to Tango. So that's an extra. So maybe we may nearly have twice as many as them. Maybe a little bit less.
If
we can.
if
you can.
Yeah, if we can get double there, I can tell you with confidence that Duke and I could take it without massive casualties, unless we
even in
a
siege.
In a siege against a 4-star general.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You could siege the town and
the
force
problem
them
is,
to come out.
No, but the problem is we could siege the town, but they could just wait out until they have the forces to take us.
True.
Because if I were him, I'd just let them siege me for a few turns and draw up all my forces. So basically, if we're attacking, we're going to have to attack. We're going to have to besiege the castle and assault the castle. And I can brush up on my assaulting. I'm not bad at it, but...
I mean, if you have twice as many, I mean,
yeah,
it's a risky maneuver, but it could pay off.
My problem is that risky maneuvers so early in the game, I don't know if we need... Like, okay, here's my thinking. And Cinelette, this is really your choice. So I'm just giving my thought process. It's a risky maneuver that could pay off, or we could just sit back and defend and be sure that we can defend whatever they throw at us. Whereas if we attack and it doesn't work, now they have an opening. And honestly, we got to think about it. Let's say we assault the castle. Let's say we take the castle with only 50% casualties, which is a realistic number even if we do well in an assault. What's to stop them from then bringing up enough forces to take that castle back, and then we've lost an entire army for almost no gain?
True, but if they divert forces from somewhere else on the front line, then they'll have another opening.
Which is
I
true.
think it would be a bit too risky right now. Maybe in a couple turns.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
maybe.
gonna say, if we're gonna do that, we're gonna have to completely shift from a defensive land strategy to an offensive land strategy. I'm all for, striking them where they're weak to make openings, but our original goal was to concentrate on the sea, and to do this, we would have to concentrate on the land.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is up to you, and of course, if you choose to, I will do it to the best of my abilities. But,
Well, we should probably stick to the sea since that's where we have our advantage.
Yeah.
True.
One thing, they probably don't have a lot of their specialist cavalry yet.
Yeah, they don't have fire cav.
It's gonna take them a little bit to get that.
Well, I would say we definitely probably have at least even number in boats, if not greater number of boats, because honestly, I realize this. It gives us a small advantage. The fact that we had a trade port already, and the fact that I specifically asked Rebel, can we use everything that's on this map now? And he said yes, gave us the ability to make ships faster. So we should theoretically outnumber their ships at the moment. And theoretically speaking, if they want, basically, if we just shore up that front line and we don't attack them and we make them come to us, they're going to have to wait until they confidently have the numbers they need to take us. And the whole time they're waiting, we're outclassing them on the sea.
Plus, if we're in a defensive role, if we're in a siege, their horse aren't as useful in a siege at all.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thinking right now, it's almost imperative that they go on the offensive. And like right now, here's the way it stands. They need to attack. They need to attack fast. Why? Because our advantage plays to our holding back. Because we have the advantage on the sea, and the longer they wait to attack, the longer we can build up and gain sea power. If I were them, since their advantage is land, from the cavalry on the land, they're going to want to strike hard and strike fast to try and get an early advantage before we can get the sea advantage.
Yeah.
What I'm kind of worried about is, well, we don't have a bunch of units in Yamato yet, but Kawachi right behind it, they could theoretically just walk straight through our land and besiege that. If they have forces down there, because they obviously don't have them up in,
Well,
was that Wakasa?
the truth is, though, that would almost, well, it wouldn't be, it's true, they could just walk past that, but if that's the case, all we would do is we would take our garrison from that castle and hit them, and then they would have to face that garrison plus the garrison in the castle they're besieging.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be much riskier for them. It's true that, you know, they could try and hit us in a softer area, but they're going to have to get through our lands first. And what we could do, even, Sinaleth, to avoid that, we could put a unit laying an ambush along their path. That way, if they try to march past us, they'll have to stop for a whole turn to deal with that unit. You see what I'm saying? Put just even a single, I mean, it depends up to you. You could either put a sizable force there, or even if you put, if I'm understanding this correctly, you could just put a bow unit somewhere in the forest where they will have to walk past his ambush section, and they will have to stop for a whole turn to deal with him, giving us time to draw forces in on them. So it wouldn't be a simple matter of just walking right past us. Thoughts? Silence?
Oh,
Of the
sorry,
lamb.
I muted my mic. There's a forest right in Yamato between Kawachi and their border, so just putting any single unit there would be awesome.
Right, we can
For
definitely
now,
do that,
and
and
set up
then
good ambush.
right, and then if they wanted to try and just walk past our garrison, they'd hit a nice little surprise. And no matter what, even if they see it or not, they're still going to have to stop that turn to deal with it.
And then, sorry, go on.
I just realized that they have that 4-star general in Wakasa, right?
Mhm.
We have a ninja in Wakasa. Is there? Do we want to try and assassinate that? I'm not sure what our percentage likelihood
I
would be on
really
that.
doubt our
Very low.
percentage on a
Yeah.
level 1 ninja for a 4-star general is going to be good.
Yeah, but if we can send him on a few missions in that area, if we could take out a few.
Why don't
of
we
his
just have
generals-
them? Yeah, why
Start
don't we have them
sabotage.
sabotage the army or sabotage a couple buildings or something?
Yeah, and level him up, and then if we can get rid of that 4-star general, that's going to be
Huge.
a huge, yeah.
Just hope they don't have a Mitsuke in the area. That's going to be the problem, is
Yeah.
that once we start sabotaging things in that area, they're going to try and send a Mitsuke to deal with them. So what we should do is pair him with a Mitsuke of our own, and the second we even sniff a Mitsuke, take him out.
Yep.
Well, that was the area where Nando was bribed, right?
No, Fernando was
No.
bribed down south.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fernando, you made into a stew. How'd you like that now?
So, you
But
know
see,
what? I
but-
was just thinking, what is this? How would this work for viable tactic or viable option? If we wanted to delay them, say we don't have a ninja in the area, we can't sabotage the army. If we sent a string of single unit soldiers, that would stop them every single turn, wouldn't it? They would have to stop to deal with that soldier.
Or they could just walk past it.
No, once you get into their field of influence, don't you have to stop and deal with
Oh
them?
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
If it's a choke point, if it's a wide area, then no. But
Well, yeah, of
they
course. But
can
if it's a
walk.
choke point, if they have to hit their area of influence, now, and I'm curious. Now, I know you can fight one battle and then move on and fight another battle, but doesn't each battle take up movement points and stuff?
I think so. That's what the whole idea with the sea blockade was, just to have
Right.
a string of ships.
So, so this is something we could keep. I'm not suggesting we need to use this now, but it would be an interesting tactic to keep in mind in case they wanted to try and just walk past our defenses to hit something behind us. We could strategically place in our territory. In fact, theoretically speaking, it might be wise to just place them throughout our territory and just keep them there. Just keep them at choke points in ambush, so that if they tried to be sneaky and sneak a unit around somewhere, then they would trigger one of our ambushes, and we could use them as like a warning or a stalling maneuver.
Yeah.
But definitely in that area, we can place one or two to not allow them to just walk straight past us. And if we did that, we'd again even more so want to be on the defensive, because while they're trying to commit their entire force to an offensive, we can stop that force with the same force with a smaller amount of troops, and use the extra troops for things like those ambushes.
Yep.
I hope that made sense.
Ambush
Makes
upon
sense.
ambush.
Sounds like it could work.
Here's some big things we need to deal with. Money issues. We've already got money issues, and we didn't even have a full session.
Yeah.
What do we want to do? Okay, here's one issue or one thing I can see becoming an issue. We have a crap load of samurai being made. I would say that in the next turn, we are either going to have no income or very little income.
You
Well, some
could
of the-
cut the
sorry.
unit productions on the Chosakabe and Shimazu Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
like
all
all the
for
way in
that.
the back.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking it might be a good idea to deal with it for a couple of turns. You know what I mean? Just deal with a low income for a couple of turns. Move the samurai up to the front, and then start disbanding some Ashigaru units.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
that's more your jurisdiction trip. Which, by the way, I don't think we've ever hammered that out. But I think disbanding of units should be Tripp's field.
Sure,
Yep.
Okay.
makes sense.
But and I'll kind of leave that to you. We'll have a better idea of our money situation in the next session, but it's in your court. Do you want to just like? Is there anything you want us to disband immediately, or do you want to wait till next turn, see what we have, and then disband from there? And then maybe like say, okay, once we are running out of money, start disbanding, say, Chokusabi, Shimazu Island.
I don't really know what we have right now, but definitely in like the back, just try to start disbanding useless units that we don't really need.
Well, nothing's useless at the moment, because right now, even in the Shimazu Island, we have, the way I ended the session is I have a boat waiting to take units over to the front. And right now, the way it looks like, I can get all those units from the Shimazu Island, or at least a good stack from Shimazu Island to the front in 3 turns. Maybe 2, but probably 3.
Well, before the samurai are finished being trained, we can stop training some of them.
Right. That would make sense. Which means we're not going to have many sword samurai for the time being.
Yari are good for now, and then Naginata is what we really want once we get up to that point in the tech tree.
Now, here's another question. Do we, because our plan is to gain sea superiority, and once we have sea superiority, start landing raiding parties behind their lines.
Yep.
Do we want to keep units in reserve for these raiding parties, or do we want to just commit everything to the frontal defense, and then once we're ready for raiding parties, draw from our frontal resources?
I think like everything by that Shimazu Island should just kind of be kept in reserve, maybe, because that's where we'll have a lot of boats trained.
I was thinking that would be that would be a good thing, is to have a boat force ready there, like a QRF, quick reaction force. Just have it there, sitting next to a harbor, next to a boat, that we can send it to be wherever it's needed as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It can raid, it can reinforce whatever it needs to do.
Since the Shimazu Island is so far back, I think it might be better to put it on the Chosakabe Island, our reserve force.
That's actually a really good point. We could just transfer them from the Shimazu Island to the Chosukabe Island, and then just have them wait there to be the QRF.
Yeah, maybe an Awa or even Awaji be a good place to keep them.
So, and then what we do is we keep them there, and then if we get naval superiority, we can say, okay, you know what? These guys on the Chokusabe Island, they're going to start raising hell in the back. Or if they do unleash the frontal assault we're expecting, and either it's stronger than we thought, or we don't do as well as we thought, we can use them to back up. I would think if we have a QRF there on the Chosukabe Island, even at the worst case scenario, they might be able to take a province or two from us, but they wouldn't be able to push much further beyond that before we could get reinforcements there to stop them.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think... I think if even with their advantage, if we play the defensive, unless they create an opening somewhere, I don't see them busting through our lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that the bordering provinces are good. The bottom province on the front line, Key, that has... It looks like it has a small border on the shore with 22 east.
I believe it does. So
Can that reach up into Yamato? Or does it go... Does it loop around the coast?
I think it loops around the coast. I don't think this one actually has a connecting with the enemy. Because
I'm not 100% sure. I know it does in Follow the Samurai, but that's a different map. I'm not sure.
I can say this, like, I'm looking at the key picture right here, and it's actually blocked by the menu tree. But I was very, very careful during the session to fortify any territory that directly touched their territories. And since I don't have any forces there, I would say it's a fairly safe bet that they would have to get through one of our territories to get to there, unless they launched an amphibious assault.
Well, double check. You can never be too safe.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
We can double check on the video, I suppose.
Let me go do that. I have the video open.
Because I can't. That's our one thing, is that we're gonna have to use the video so much because we can't open the game file. We're not gonna be able to go. Well, we can open up any map and take a look at it. We can do that.
Yeah, I could just launch the game, but it's probably easier to look at the map.
Right.
I mean the video. Ugh. It's just sort of skipping around in the video, hoping that there's a shot of it.
What I was thinking was, if we're playing defensive,
Probably gonna be easier if I just launch the game.
and if we're playing defensive and we keep it to where they have to attack our front, I can't see this going too badly for us, because even if they push us back a little bit, if it gives us the time we need to gain the advantage on the sea, I mean, seriously, I keep thinking this, that if we get the advantage on the sea, they're screwed. If we can
Pretty
control
much.
the ocean, they're screwed. They might be able to push us back a province or two, but all we have to do is land one raiding party in their back fields, and any advantage they got will be taken away.
Yeah, but we got to make sure we have advantage in the seas.
That's true, we do. Which means that, and here's the problem for them. Either they concentrate on a strong frontal assault, because that's what they're going to need to break through our lines. They're going to need to commit a strong frontal assault. Or they concentrate on the seas. Either way, we've got the advantage playing on the defensive role. We have the advantage on the seas because we're the Mori, and we have the advantage on the land because we're defending.
We actually have a lot of really good choke points on the land if we do get pushed back.
Mm-hmm. A lot of bridges that we can play on. We can fall back to some fortresses, but bridges, I love bridge battles. And by the way, we Rebel and I made a rule from the start that to avoid the you attack. No, I'm going to sit here until you attack. Whoever is the attacker has to come to the defender. So in other words, let's say we're sitting on a bridge and he attacks us. He is obligated to attack us. He has to come to us on the field.
Yeah, makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
Because, yeah, otherwise it would be, I'm going to sit on this hill, and you're going to sit on that hill, and we're going to see who gets bored first.
So I'm guessing you're playing on no battle time limit then?
No battle time limit.
Okay.
That was the only way, because the thing is, neither of us like the battle time limit, because we like to be able to take our time if we need to. But, again, we have to make sure we don't get into a waiting game.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, the more I look at this, the more defense seems to be our best role right now. Until we get defense on the land and strong attack on the sea. I would say that we should start taking out their ships next session.
Yep.
If we have the ships to do it.
Alright, I was thinking that the last thing we want is to have them gain their ships into a cohesive force. I think that we have more ships than they do right now. We should be trying to, if we can, start taking out their ships while there's still one or two in a pile.
Yep. In the video it looked like they had one ship guarding the coast after they chased the scout ship north.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a good place to start. They also have the 2 ships, and then we have 3 ships up there. So if you could win an even fight, that would be ideal.
Let's see, they have, it looks like they have one ship up there guarding the coast. Our ship is out there in the ocean. They have another ship somewhere because they attacked it with 2.
Yep.
So, We will have
Well-
we'll have a slight disadvantage with that one ship because it's going to lose some to attrition being in the deep seas.
Well, that'll just make it more even because we have more troops to begin with.
Right. I could see this turning into a massive naval battle, massive naval war.
And that's
Yeah.
how it's all decided.
And the thing is, if it's a naval war, we have the advantage.
Yep, we
Yay.
do.
Man, I think we chose the right clan.
Definitely.
And I was so hesitant to do it too because I was like, I suck at naval battles, and that was actually why I chose. I was like, if I suck at naval battles, I should choose the thing that plays to my weakness.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah.
that little extra
Open.
oomph. And the more I think about it, the more, even if neither of us were the Mori, I would think this would eventually turn into a massive naval war.
Yeah, it would.
Everybody
Because
would be afraid
there's-
of losing the advantage
Yep.
in land.
it's such, and there's so few choke points. I mean, there's 2 and 3 if key counts. Like, that's really it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm
A-
still trying to find.
And it's so different than the computer because you know what? When you play the game, you never really worry about the computer landing amphibious assaults behind your lines. I mean, it might happen once or twice, but it's not like it's a constant threat that it is now because we're playing humans.
Yeah.
It happens a lot when you get to the realm divide.
Well, when I got to the Realm Divide, I had 2 allies that was so allied to me and so in my pocket, and that our strengths combined were the same as the whole rest of the island.
Ugh.
So the Realm Divide for me was nothing. I
Well,
guess-
Last
Squee,
turn-
I don't think you ever look at the southern coast of Key in that video.
I'm sorry.
Oh well.
Here, I'll tell you what. Just look at it when you get in
Mhm.
tomorrow, and if there is a way to get
Start-
through there,
start
just send
building it up.
troops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do that. For sure.
because I mean, if there's only 2 choke points, then because I just assumed that Key was open, but maybe I'm wrong. If there's only 2 choke points, I don't think we're gonna have any problem defending.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks like right now it's our choke points are the fortress that we have, which is great. It's a fortress.
Yeah.
And Tango.
And if we can get Tango into a fortress, I don't know if we want to consider that.
I think we should consider it if it looks like we're going to be able to hold on to it for more than 5 turns. Because honestly, it looks to me like if they're going to attack, that's where they're going.
Yeah, but we have a considerable amount of men there.
Which is why I have put a considerable amount of men there, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
figured, I mean, they have a 4-star general up there. It looks like if they're making a move, that's where they want to make it.
Well, we may
Um,
want to send one of our generals up there as well.
We could do that.
I think we had a place where there were 2 generals in the same army.
And that was mostly just because of where they started, it was
Yeah.
kind of where
Just-
they ended up. But yeah,
just send-
Sinaleth, I'll leave that one up to you. Let me know where you want to send them. I mean, if you want to be specific, you can say send this general here, send this one there. But you can just give me a general. We need a general. No, a non-specific. We need a general over here, if you want.
Okay. We have 4, right?
We have. Do we have 4? I thought we
I
had.
thought we had 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought we
3
had
will still
one.
work.
I think we have 3, and I think they're all in the south.
Yeah.
Not positive on that though. Next
Yeah.
time I need to make screenshots not only of because right now my screenshots are territories, how they're looking for commerce and all that, and what they're building. I need to make screenshots for what armies in them as well.
Yeah, and of the front line and of any territories that we have visibility on of theirs.
Yeah, I will make better screenshots next time.
It's all about improvement, improvement, improvement.
But I'm feeling good about this, guys. I know they're feeling good, or at least they're putting on a really good front. But I'm thinking if we play out the defense, it is going to be hard for them to crack us.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get caught up in a bunch of field battles.
Yep. Now here's a question: how easy is it for them to draw us into a bunch of field battles if we're playing on the defensive?
They'd have to siege us out, but usually they'd have to take winter attrition 1 turn.
And besides that, if they try and sit there and siege us out, siege will last. I mean, they'd have to siege us out for at least 4 or 5 turns, right?
Yeah.
if they try and siege us out, if they're going to win in any case, they're going to have to attack us with concentrated armies. If they try and siege us out, that'll give us all the time in the world to outnumber them.
Yep.
And that way, who cares if they have the advantage on the field? We'll outnumber them. I mean, you know what I'm saying, if they have the better cav. Because if they siege us out for 5 turns, that is 5 turns to make and send troops to that location. And if they're going to win that siege in the first place, the chances of them having a secondary force that they can attack with somewhere else of any strength is going to be difficult for them.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if we just have to saturate our troops in 2 provinces.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be not too difficult to do.
We also have to remember to try to and Duke, you said you're really good at coming up with the contingency plans. We also shouldn't discount the idea that they think the sea is just as important as we are and are trying their hardest to win a sea war. So in other words, I should not be surprised if we never see a frontal assault on land coming. And if we don't see, I would say this, if we don't see a frontal assault in the next session or early session, we should not assume, but think it's very, very likely that they are trying to build a massive navy.
Yeah, I would agree. And we should counter that with a massive navy.
Which we are doing. Honestly, here's the one thing. The one thing that's good about this right now is we can be fairly certain of what they have militarily wise because of what we have. We have been building navy everywhere we could build navy as soon as we could build navy. So we are relatively confident that they don't have a bigger navy than we do.
Yeah, and because we have more ports than they do. If you look at the map, almost all our provinces are coastal.
Yep.
Like maybe half of theirs
inland because we have islands. Heck, almost every territory on the islands are touching the ocean.
I think we have like 1 or 2 provinces that aren't touching the ocean.
Which means that we have a stronger ability to produce... God, you know, the more I look at this, unless I screw this up horribly, and if I do, I'm sorry, guys, but it looks like it is going to be really hard for them to win this.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they're saying, yeah, it looks great. I mean, we got all these land forces.
Japan is a somewhat unfair playground, but it works.
No, nothing's fair. War.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're the Waddling Ducks. We're not fair. We're not the Fair Clan.
No, we're the Waddling Ducks clan.
All's fair in love, war, and in kindergarten.
and with ducks.
And ducks. There's ones that waddle, and there's ones that waddle a little weirder.
Yeah, and we usually kill them like the rest.
Yeah.
Kill the albinos. What?
Kill the albino Namekian.
Actually, I do want to point this out. I know that people watching this on YouTube can't see, but when I called Trip App and his avatar showed up, it was just Popo's eyes. I can tell you where they're not. Safe.
And my guy is in a bulletproof bathtub. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the bayonet. Yeah.
What is? I swear, my team has the best avatars ever, and of course, Annex over there has a picture of a bloody Winnie the Pooh carrying Ehor's head. And the best part about all this is all those avatars in Sinless has like this innocent-looking anime girl, just like the one thing that does not fit here, which makes it even more creepy.
It's not like the other.
No, because that's the weird part is that you look at these and you're like, one of them doesn't fit.
Or does it fits.
Yeah, exactly. Or does it?
What you don't understand is all my agents are actually clones of Winnie the Pooh, and I've convinced them that Claude Rebel's agents are Eeyore.
You know what?
So,
I might just leave this as our video because you'll see all the Skype avatars and you'll see like the names light up when they talk.
Be pretty funny.
Not Mr. Papa. No.
Okay, so I have all these names, all these pictures named. So okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna upload these to an undisclosed Photoshop place for you guys to download, and there's like, I swear, there's like 50 of these pictures, so there's tons of them. All the ones that are named are a picture of the province. It has a picture of the province window, meaning its happiness level, its income, etc., and it has a picture of what is being built and what has been built. All right? I do not have any for the militaries right now. However, I do have pictures of our landscapes that should give us a clear idea of where our armies are sitting right now. Next session, I promise you, I will also have a picture of each city's military. You know what? And if I'm really wanting to punish myself, I'll have a picture of every standing army in the field and what's in it.
So many JPEG files.
Yeah.
Hooray!
I don't think you need to take a screenshot of every single one of our guys.
Okay. All right. You know what? If you don't need it, I'm happy to oblige.
I can't.
Less work.
All right. So
I can't.
Go ahead.
I can't get this image out of my head of Squee just with a suitcase or like a briefcase, opening it up, and there's just a bunch of Shogun 2 screenshots like printed out, and it says like top secret.
That's classified.
That's classified information.
Actually, like take a look at these pictures and then place them in the can. They will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
What?
Memorize these pictures. All right,
Print them into your
so
mind.
I think that right now what we need to do is we're basically so far. Let me review to make sure we're all on the same page. For the most part, we stay the course. We keep defensive. We funnel all our troops into the choke points. We set up some ambushes to make sure they don't just walk past our choke points. We hit heavy and hard on the naval aspect. The money's going to be a problem, but Trip App, for construction, are you saying that for now, for the time being, we should use what money we have to continue building the Navy? Or even more so, do you think that we should do what we need to do to ensure we can keep building a Navy? In other words, disband what we need to disband to ensure that our naval production does not stop.
A little bit of both.
Okay, I'll leave that up to you. Like, I mean, just send me a plan of what you want, and then we'll follow it. But so far, we need to stay the course on land, keep the choke points, defended. Set up the ambushes to keep them from going around the choke points. Hit them with the Navy. Keep set up a quick reaction force on the Chosakabe Island with the stuff we have on Shimazu. And then use our agents to create a line of defense. Correct? Now, do we want... and Annex, this is kind of your thing. Do we want to start sending agents into their land, or do we want to keep all our agents to make sure we have an unstoppable line of defense?
I'd say keep most of our agents like on the line, pretty much, like just around the borders.
Right, I was
that
just
way
thinking
we can
if we're...
send them on missions if we see an appropriate thing, because it's important that we level them up.
Right.
Because if they send in just a bunch of higher level, they're just going to be able to kill our agents. So it's kind of important that we keep leveling them up, but it's also important we keep them back to make sure that...
Because I was just thinking, if we are going to be playing the defensive, it's not too important that we know what's going on behind the first few provinces.
Yeah,
not incredibly important.
Not incredibly, but we should know like what's happening on the bordering provinces at least.
Well, if we want to land troops behind, it's important to know where they're training, where they have a lot of troops in their back lines. Like where it's vulnerable to attack.
Right.
True, if we're going to be doing naval assaults, but I don't think we're going to be having naval assaults in this next session. So
yeah, probably not.
I mean, if we're planning on doing a naval assault, it's important that we send an agent ahead to make sure that it's all clear and we're not going to get destroyed when we get there. But as long as we're not doing naval assaults, I'd just say keep the agents on the line.
Makes sense.
Mostly.
We pretty much have to wait until we know we have an overpowering navy before thinking about landing troops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be throwing out raiding parties until session 4 or 5, maybe 6.
True. Yeah. We need to be absolutely sure we have the stronger navy.
Indeed.
And that we're not going to get attacked on land and lose provinces that way.
I'm going to make an account on PhotoBucket, and I'm going to give you guys access to it as well, in case you guys need to upload any pictures for other people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright. So, okay, here's one more thing we need to debate. So we got our basic plan of attack for the next session. Here's one last thing that we need to do. Them. What should we be worried about from them? What should we try to expect from them? What should we... in other words, let's try and brainstorm a little bit and think what they're going to try and do, and if we need to, if there's anything we can do to counter such a thing. Obviously, beyond the defend the choke points in case they attack.
Well, from what I'm seeing, it's not unreasonable that they might try and push in the north, especially because they have that 4-star general. They seem to be getting a stronger navy in the north. Do we have any idea what they're doing with their navy in the south?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So, I don't know. Just from what I'm seeing, I'd say it's most... Like, anything could happen at this point because we don't know a lot. But it's not unreasonable to say that they might attack through the north. Just from what I've seen so far.
Right.
So I'd just say, yeah, make sure anywhere where they could attack on our line is secured, and we should be fine. I don't think they can throw anything too crazy quite yet.
And
Well, maybe we
plus,
should be. Sorry.
I was going to say, and plus we got to remember, they're going to have the same money problems we're having.
Yeah. I'm still flabbergasted at that.
I know.
How fast that money went.
Well, I could try to focus on upgrading the economic buildings now.
Yes, that might
So
be.
that can be like the only thing we try to build now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm stopping because what I was doing before was if there was something that could be built, I built it. In other words, roads, farms, ports, all that stuff. If it was available, I was clicking it. From now on, I'm just going to, unless you build... I do have a question. There was one province, I don't remember what province it was, but there was one province where you specifically told us not to build stuff.
That was kind of a mistake. I left that open because me and Annex were talking,
Oh,
and
okay.
we kind of made like a compromise plan.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if you factored that in when you did the last session.
We tried.
Okay, that's cool.
We tried. Either way, I don't think it's hurting us that badly because we're already having money issues.
Yeah.
What if we don't assume that they're having extremely bad money problems? What if we assume that they're actually building economically to start with and they have a better economy?
Yeah. They
Well,
could have
that's
gone
the thing.
to
They
really...
they could have a better treasury, but they couldn't have a better economy.
Yeah, because we upgraded all our economical buildings.
Right.
As
They
quickly as
can't
we
be.
could.
They can't be unless they are making
Saving.
less troops than we are. They can't have a greater income than we do. Now, it is possible that they aren't building as fast as we are, or as many troops as we are. And while that's possible, I think we should consider that. I find that highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Well,
Because-
they have another gold mine than us, so it's possible.
That is true.
They got 2.
Well, but what a gold mine? We're talking what? Maybe 1,000?
No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of money, I think. I don't know, I'll have to check it out.
It's maybe 1,000 per turn. That's not at this point in time. That's not going to be a huge difference maker. While it is possible they're building slower or making troops slower than us, I think it's unlikely because look at it from their point of view. Okay, we're going to build less troops than they do, which means that for a time being, we're going to be open to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they would think that way.
Yeah. They seem to be a rather aggressive group.
Even if they're not aggressive, it's too risky to not
Yeah.
build as fast as you can.
Way too risky.
I just checked it up. The most upgraded gold mine gives you 2,500 per turn.
But we had
One.
no upgrades, so at most they have one upgrade right now.
So far, they could have 1,200,
Yeah.
Uh,
Which
which is
isn't
actually an extra 600 per turn.
Yeah, which isn't horrible per se, but it's also not a game changer. By
Yeah.
any face of the
True.
world.
Yeah.
That's like gold.
I understand.
Shiny, shiny.
So I think that we shouldn't discount it completely, but I'd say it's very unlikely that they are in much better position as far as money is than we are.
Or they could be saving their money for Cav.
They
That's
could.
always-
That's true. They could be saving their money for Cav, but all that means to us right now is that they're not. I mean, basically, what I think if they're saving money by not making troops. They're not
Yeah, so
saving
we
money
had-
by not making economy.
Yeah.
because they're going to want to, same as us, they're going to want to have the ability to produce troops as quickly as possible, which means that I would think they would be making as many dojos and economical upgrades as we are. The only thing I could see them not doing is maybe not making roads, but considering that they're all land, I can't see them not upgrading their roads.
Yeah,
Their roads are going to be vital to them.
certainly.
But, like I said, we should not discount that. We should assume that it's possible.
Yep, we should.
Anything else?
Not that I can think
Oh,
of.
I
thank
can't
you.
really think of what else they might do.
They could
Yeah.
make pizza rolls, and then they would confuse us, and we'd be like, "Holy crap! They've got
Apparently-
pizza rolls."
They're Italian now, not Japanese.
No, they're American because pizza rolls.
Oh god, they have centurions! Run!
All right. If there's anything anyone else thinks of course, we can always PM each other. It sucks that we don't have a forum, but that's just not fair
Yeah.
because I can see their forums. Just PM each other or Skype or whatnot. I will have those photos up momentarily. Photo Bucket's being a derp right now, but I'll have them up soon. And once we stop recording, we'll try and set up a time that we can do this weekly. Before we go, anything else anyone wants to throw out there?
Oh, what if we drive Rebel insane? So
I am
can't
already
play as
on
well?
it. I'm already on it. I remember he's helping me with the Skyrim thing, and I'm in charge of that. So,
Wait, Rebels sane? When did this happen?
well, when we say sane, we mean sane for a British man.
So he's still sane compared to what they think Americans are like.
Well, yeah, I mean, like there's Rebel, and then there's Variax, and we're trying to drive him more towards Variax.
This will be fantastic.
So basically, he'll start his sessions hammered, and that'll be great for us.
What if we just got rid of Rebel and replaced him with Variax? Like, just cut out.
Brilliant!
Just cut out the work of making him crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the military. I
mean,
can arrange
no one will
things.
notice, let's be honest. Like, they can't tell the difference.
They all think they sound the same anyway.
Shall I arrange?
And it wouldn't be that hard to
replace-
convince Variax that he is Claude. It wouldn't be that hard.
Especially hammered.
What we need to do is somehow find a way for him to get spammed with IMs about him being Welsh.
Yeah.
Right when we're in the middle of the session. Because that will make him lose focus.
It'll make him like stop and go. I am not Welsh.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll be like, "Hey, Rebel,
Yeah, I have
you
him on Steam, I
gotta,
can just
you
send him
gotta."
messages.
Be like, he needs to get it like right in the middle of a fight, and they'd be like, "Wow, he left that flank open. Wonder what he was doing." I'm not Welsh. It'd be brilliant psychological warfare. Also, well, Duke, we should try and get together early. Okay, I will tell you guys this: we will try to get together early, and if you guys are available around noon on noon Central Time on Saturday, if we can have a stream up for you guys, we will. So that you guys won't be able to have contact with us. That would be against the rules. But at least you'd be able to see everything portrayed in real time. And failing that, if it's on like live stream or whatnot, live stream saves it immediately. So you guys should have access to it at least by that afternoon.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So until then, folks, we will, for you guys watching on the YouTubes, we'll see you in session 2.
Yep.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.